Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Avatar The Last Airbender, the Netflix series. Now, when it comes to adaptations of the absolute classic Nickelodeon series, the M. Night Shyamalan version from 2010 is absolutely atrocious. It's possibly one of the worst adaptations of any popular series you can imagine. So naturally, people were a bit skeptical to see another live action interpretation of this cartoon. But thankfully, not only does this series not copy the original cartoon beat for beat and word for word, but it actually remixes and retools a lot of the storylines to make it not a replacement, but I see as a different version, therefore justifying its own existence. It's similar to how Final Fantasy VII's remake basically remixed and retooled a lot of that game's events to make it justify having an existence in the first place. But let's get to the story, shall we? Because the story is kept pretty much the same as the original. Avatar Aang awakens in the Southern Water Tribe, meeting Katara and Sokka after when 100 year war has been going on, where the Fire Nation has been conquering the entire world, and after Aang realizes that all the Airbenders have been completely wiped out by the Fire Nation, he has to learn how to bend fire, water, and earth, while he also tries to save his friends from spirits, save a bunch of people from Fire Nation soldiers, reconnect with an old friend or two, and as he attempts to understand the knowledge of the previous avatars, such as Kyoshi, Roku, and Kuruk. What follows is basically the show hitting the most important highlights of the original first season, while also cutting certain episodes out and adding some new stuff in. For example, we get a lot more focus on the Fire Nation and especially Ozai and Azula in the first season, which is rather interesting considering that Ozai didn't even show his face until the final season of the original series, and Azula was really only used as a way to set up the second season of the original animated show. Here, they get their own subplot that arguably builds up Azula a bit more, and while it was a bit unfortunate that they didn't build up Ozai the same way they did in the original series, Daniel Day Kim does a great job portraying him. He's still intimidating, and you can still tell he's someone who's lost all of his humanity by what he was taught. Plus, we actually get to see a lot more of the avatars in question as Aang gets to visit their various shrines in this version. You get to see Avatar Kyoshi, Roku, and Kuruk, and all of their perspectives on being the Avatar. And there's even some information about the Avatars that was from the comics and in the Rise of Kyoshi books that are adapted into the series, such as the explanations as to why Avatar Kuruk's lifespan was so low due to him fighting dark spirits, or a reference to the Mother of Faces, who's Ko the Face Stealer's mother. It's a good way to implement that material from the expanded universe of Avatar while still telling the original story. Using canon material in a way to make this story stand out from the original while also still hitting the same important beats. Granted, that also means some special episodes from the original are kind of completely dropped, with only references, such as Bato of the Water Tribe being cut out completely. Um, the Great Divide, thankfully, is not nowhere to be found. No one's going to lose sleep over that. But at the same time, it also means certain characters have their personalities either retooled a bit or some parts are completely neutered. Like, Sokka no longer has his early sexism to deal with, and the past of these characters is divulged into a bit more due to the fog of lost souls being introduced. And much like how it was used in the Legend of Korra, it basically locks people into their deepest, darkest fears, and also ends up as this version's hunting ground of Ko the Face Stealer. While the effects aren't exactly perfect, I do think they are good enough for a TV series of this type, and especially in comparison to the effects from the Shyamalan film, these are far better. And I do think that this series does build up a second season rather well, even with some of the remixes being better than others. So while I don't think this is a perfect interpretation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's far better than I thought it was going to be. and I'm actually interested in seeing if they'll handle a second season or not. So that's why I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. See you next time.